we were discussing about preparation of balance sheet for which data will be given in the question. Certain information will be given in the question and you have to calculate necessary ratios for that and you have to prepare the balance sheet. So this was the question which we discussed in the last session. We have to prepare the balance sheet of Excel Limited, for which they have given different information. Okay, for each information you have to see whether you can calculate any ratios and find out the amount as actually. So usually, balance sheet, it consists of liability side and asset side. So you require information such as current assets, fixed assets, those details. Similarly, capital detail, reserves and surplus, current liabilities, long-term liabilities. You require these kind of information in order to prepare your balance sheet. And at last, after calculating everything, no, your balance sheet, if you prepare, it should get tallied. It should get tallied. Okay, so we have discussed various things here. We calculated gross profit from sales information and gross profit ratio information they have given, so with which we calculated gross profit. And after calculating gross profit, we calculated cost of goods sold. And then with the help of cost of goods sold, stock turnover ratio is also given in the question, with which we found out the average stock. Here average stock is considered as the stock, because when there is no opening stock, no, that closing stock will be considered as the average stock. So we calculated the average stock worth rupees 1 lakh. Okay, and then after calculating the stock, we went to calculate current assets and current liabilities. So already information given in your question as current assets ratio is 1.50 and liquid assets ratio is 1.25. With the help of current assets and liquid assets, I found out I have substituted everything here, current assets and quick assets, and found out the stock. So stock amount already I know 1 lakh rupees, with which I calculated current assets amount, which is 6 lakhs, and quick assets amount is 5 lakhs. So all these, no, one information will be given, one information will not be there. So with which you have to calculate. So some unknown thing will be there. From known thing, you have to calculate the unknown information. So like that only we should proceed for this type of problem. Okay, and then we found out the current assets worth and quick assets worth, and stock also we know. And then next moving to the other part of your question, debt collection period. So with which I calculated debtors turnover ratio, that is 8 times. Okay, and then next I moved to the average accounts receivable. I have to calculate this one. So debtors turnover ratio I calculated as 8 times. And net credit sales we have used from the question, it is given 20 lakhs, that we used here. And then finally we found out average accounts receivable as rupees 2,50,000, which can be rewritten as debtors. So debtors nalo average accounts receivable nalo, it is more or less same terminology only. Okay, here we cannot differentiate. So whatever we found out, no, that is the debtors amount. Okay, so average accounts receivable is the debtors here, rupees 2,50,000 we found out. And we moved further. So turnover to fixed assets ratio, this has been given in the question. So turnover, they are referring it as cost of sales in our question. So cost of sales divided by fixed assets. So here I don't know the fixed assets, but I know the cost of sales. So I have substituted again cost of sales amount, and I found out fixed assets amount, that is X. Whenever you don't know in max, you will use X, no? That same thing here also we are using. Okay, so here 10 lakhs I have found out as fixed assets. So you should be very careful in finding out the formula. So which formula, and then how to substitute it, how to arrive, everything you have to think logically and do this kind of problem. So next, after finding out fixed assets, next, moving further to our question, fixed assets to net worth, they have given us 5/6. Okay. So I have taken fixed assets divided by net worth. Whenever it is like this, no, this will constitutes the numerator and this will constitute the denominator. So we are taking in this way. Okay, now fixed assets we know 10 lakhs. So we have taken here. Net worth we don't know, we have to calculate. So 5 divided by 6 we have taken. Then moving how to calculate x, you know, 6 into 10 lakh you have to do x into 5. 5x it will come. So 10 into 6 is 60 lakh. So x is equal to 60 lakh. This 5, if it goes here, it will become 12 lakh. Divide by 5 panna, you will be getting 12 lakh. So this will be our net worth. All these things already we have discussed in the previous session. That's what I'm going fast here. All these are we have calculated. So far whatever we have calculated, no, that is your fixed assets we have calculated. Current assets we have calculated. Current assets specifically stock how much, data how much we have calculated. Okay. Now moving to the other part. So this one we stopped actually on the other day. So here they have given again in the question ratio of reserve to share capital. If you refer the question, you can find out ratio of reserve to share capital 1/3. This has been given in the question. Okay. Now what is meant by net worth? This I already discussed with you. So net worth means share capital, reserves, both if you add together, you will get your net worth. Okay, share capital, either it can be equity share capital, preference share capital, and reserves and surplus. If you add all together, you will get net worth. Here, if you see reserves plus share capital is equal to net worth I'm taking. So reserve, if you see the proportion is 1, and share capital, if you see this is 3 actually. So now if I take net worth means how much is my net worth? Reserve is 1, share capital is 3, means 1 plus 3 is 4. So 4 is my net worth here. Okay. So already I calculated that net worth amount is 12 lakh. Now if 4 is 12 lakh means okay, this is the part which we left on the other day actually. So 4 is the 12 lakh then 1 is how much you have to find out. So 1 is what actually it is reserves. Okay. And for 3 is how much, that is your share capital is how much. Let us calculate now. So 1 will be your reserves. Okay. So how to calculate this reserves means, so okay. So 4 is 12 lakh, that is net worth. Then 1 is how much? 1 is your reserves. So now how to calculate means 1 into 12 lakh. Okay. 1 into 12 lakh divided by 4. So we'll give you the reserves amount. Okay. So how we calculated means this 1 lakh into, sorry, this 1 into this 12 lakh divided by 4. If I do, I can find out my reserves amount. Okay. So like this only I have to calculate. So our reserves amount will be actually rupees 3 lakh. So reserves amount is 3 lakh. Next, moving on to the share capital. So how we found out means ratio of reserve to share capital 1/3 கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. So reserve share capital சேர்ந்தது தான் net worth. ரிசர்வ் வந்து எனக்கு 1ன்னு எடுத்துக்கிறேன். ஷேர் கேபிட்டலோட ப்ரொபோர்ஷன் 3ன்னு எடுத்துக்கிறோம். ஸோ 1 + 3 தான், தட் இஸ் யுவர் நெட்வொர்த் 4. ஸோ இப்போ 4 வந்துட்டு 12 லேக் மீன்ஸ் அப்போ 1, அதாவது ரிசர்வ் எவ்வளோ அப்படின்றத இதை வச்சு கண்டுபிடிக்கலாம். ஸோ எப்படி பண்றோம்னா 1ஓட 12 லேக் இஃப் யூ மல்டிப்ளை அண்ட் டிவைட் பை 4 நோ யூ வில் கெட் திஸ் 3 லேக் as ரிசர்வ்ஸ். ஓகே. And moving to share capital, you want to find out share capital. இதே இதுதான் இங்க 1 ரிசர்வ்க்குன்னு எடுத்துக்கிட்டோம்ல, instead of that you have to take share capital as 3 here. Okay, share capital as 3. So so if 4 is equal to 12 lakh, that is your net worth. Then 3 is how much? Okay, then 3 is how much will give you share capital amount. So how to find out that? So 3 into 12 lakh, 3 into 12 lakh divided by 3 into 12 lakh divided by 4 will give you the share capital amount. So this 3 multiplied by 12 lakh divided by 4, if you do, you will get your share capital amount. So share capital is equal to, so I think so it's 9 lakh.
Yes, ma'am. 9 lakhs.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So this is your share capital amount. So while looking into problem, you think it is very complex actually. But if you start working out, no, you find whenever you understand along with me, okay, simultaneously புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா, you can easily work out this problem. Okay. So now we have found out share capital. இப்போ எப்படி நம்ம ரெஃபர் பண்றது, வெதர் we have done correct or not? ஷேர் கேபிட்டலும் ரிசர்வ்ஸும் ஆட் பண்ணாதானே நம்மளுக்கு நெட்வொர்த் வரும். நம்ம நெட்வொர்த் எவ்வளோ 12 லேக்கா, அப்போ வந்து நம்மளோட ஷேர் கேபிட்டல் 9 லேக்கும் ரிசர்வ்ஸ் 3 லேக்கும் 9 plus 3 எவ்வளோ 12 lakh. So this is your net worth amount. Okay. So like that we can verify. Now we have calculated almost all of the details, but one thing we didn't calculate still now. So what we didn't calculate means current liabilities. We have kept that one as pending. Other than that, current assets, fixed assets, adulum current assets, stock data ellame on the other session we have discussed that one. Okay, here in this session, share capital, reserves, amount, everything we have discussed. But one thing we still didn't find out means that is your current liabilities we didn't find out. Okay. So current liabilities we have to calculate. How to calculate that? Let me explain. Okay. So usually if you see, this is our current ratio. Okay. So current ratio means your current assets divided by current liabilities. So let me explain here. Current ratio is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities, current liabilities, current assets by current liabilities, your current ratio. Okay. Now, so current ratio already they have given in the question. I think so it is 1.50. Okay, let us move to the question. See here. So current assets ratio is 1.50 they are telling. Okay. See here. Current assets ratio is 1.50. So 1.50 is my current asset. My current liability is how much? 1. Actually it is 1. Okay. Now if you see, current assets we know already, right? So current assets we know already, we have found out that amount. So if you go through previously, you can come across. So current assets வந்து 6 lakhs நம்ம கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்கோம் already last sessionலே போட்டது அது. ஓகேங்களா? So 6 lakhs we found out already. Now நான் என்ன பண்ண போறேன்னா, எனக்கு current liability தெரியாது. ஓகேங்களா? ஒரு பேலன்ஸ் ஷீட்னா கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டி, ஷேர் கேபிட்டல், ரிசர்வ்ஸ் எல்லாமே இருக்கும். அசட் சைட்ல அதே மாதிரி ஃபிக்ஸட் அசட், கரண்ட் அசட்ஸ் எல்லாமே இருக்கும். ஸோ இப்போ எனக்கு கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டிஸ் தெரியல. அப்ப நான் எதுல யூஸ் பண்ணி நான் சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்றதுன்றத கொஞ்சம் நம்ம திங்க் பண்ணணும். ஸோ அப்படி பண்ணும்போது நம்ம கரண்ட் ரேஷியோல கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டிஸ்ன்ற ஒரு ஆஸ்பெக்ட் வருதா. ஸோ அப்ப கரண்ட் ரேஷியோட ஃபார்முலா என்ன? கரண்ட் அசட்ஸ் டிவைடட் பை கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டிஸ். ஸோ என்னோட கரண்ட் அசட்ஸ் வந்து எப்பயுமே 1.50 அந்த கொஸ்டின்ல கொடுத்துருக்கிறது. ஸோ 1.50 we are taking divided by 1. So எதுமே 1.50 நாலும் இல்ல 1.50 டிவைடட் பை 1நாலும் இட்ஸ் சேம்னு ஆல்ரெடி நான் சொல்லியிருக்கேன். ஸோ அப்ப என்னோட கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டிஸ்ன்றது 1ன்றது தெரிய வருது. இப்போ கரண்ட் அசட்ஸ் மட்டும் எனக்கு தெரியும் ஆல்ரெடி. ஓகேங்களா? ஸோ கரண்ட் அசட்ஸ் ஆல்ரெடி எனக்கு வந்துட்டு தெரியும். ஸோ எவ்வளோன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வந்து 6 லேக்ஸ்ன்றது எனக்கு ஏற்கனவே தெரிஞ்சிச்சு. அப்ப 6 லேக்ஸ் அந்த இடத்துல நான் வந்துட்டு சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்றேன். இப்ப எனக்கு வந்து கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டிஸ் தான் தெரியல. I don't know current liabilities amount is how much. Okay. So அதனால I can keep it as X. If you don't know particular thing, either அந்த nameல நீங்க use பண்ணலாம் இல்ல வந்துட்டு you can use as current liabilities or you can use even X. It depends upon you. ஓகேங்களா? இது divided by 1 போட்டாலும் ஒண்ணுதான், இல்ல போடாமே நீங்க விட்டுட்டீங்கனாலும் it's okay. எப்படி வேணா வச்சுக்கலாம். So current assets வந்து 6 lakh. Current liability எனக்கு தெரியாது. So I have kept it as X. And current ratio வந்து 1.50 they have given. Now you just usually how in max you will do that same way. இப்போ என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க, cross multiply you will do 1.50 into X. If you do, what it will happen, 1.50 X it will become. Okay, is equal to 6 lakh rupees. Okay, so that current assets. அப்ப X ன்றது how much you will find out. X is equal to 6 lakh. This multiplication in the place la நம்ம multiply பண்ணோம்னா, if it is going this side it will become as divide. So I am using slash here. Okay, so இந்த side plus இருந்தா if it is going this side minus ஆகும், இந்த side minus இருந்து இந்த side போனா plus ஆகும். இதெல்லாம் வந்து ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். So 1.50 X is equal to 6 lakh. So X is equal to small x, actually this one is 6 lakh divided by 1.50. Just find out how much you are getting. That will be our current liabilities amount. So just find out how much you are getting. Yes. Find out how much you are getting. 6 lakh divided by 1.50. Yes, ma?
4 lakh, ma'am.
Lakh. Okay, ma. Now, this amount is known as current liabilities. Okay. This amount is known as current liabilities. Is equal to rupees 4 lakh. Okay, so நம்ம பண்றது எல்லாமே whether it is right or wrong, how you can identify means current assets இப்ப எவ்வளோ 6 lakh, current liability எவ்வளோ 4 lakhன்னு இப்ப கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்கோம். 6 lakh divided by 4 lakh if you do know, if you get the same 1.5, then your answer is right. Whatever you have found out now, your current liability is right. So like this also you can verify. Now if you see in this problem, no, we have done almost everything. Only balance sheet part is remaining. We have to prepare that one. So we have found out all the information. Now let us start with the balance sheet. So as usual, how you will write a balance sheet heading, all those things you have to balance sheet of that person's name or company's name, whatever given, no, that thing, all those things you have to mention here, everything whatever given in the question, that same follow. Excel limited. Okay, if particular year is given as on, illa for the year ended as on, and the madri you have to use. Okay, so nothing is given, just Excel limited is given, only write that one. Okay, if suppose any particular date is given, you have to mention all those things. Okay, so you know you will be using two sides of your accounts note. One will be the liability side, for which you will be having amount column. One will be the inner column. Other one will be the outer column. Okay, final amount will be entered over here. And you'll be having a assets column. And you'll be entering the amount column here also. And here also that same thing. Okay. You will be entering the amount, final amount here. Okay. So now if you see, as you know, asset side, you'll be having the fixed assets and the current assets. So let us enter first the fixed assets. So here you cannot classify whether it is plant and machinery, land and building or furniture, nothing you can classify. Fixed assets in total நம்ம calculate பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கோம்ல, that amount you should take care. So fixed assets, whatever we have calculated, no, this 10 lakh, that 10 lakh you can bring it over here. So 10 lakh you can straight away enter, no depreciation, nothing, or what type of asset, anything you cannot mention here. Okay. And moving to the current assets. Current assets. Okay. So current assets, if you see, so current assets, specifically, you know, certain current assets here, because based upon the information given, no, we have found out data as 2,50,000 that we know. And similarly, if you see stock, we know that is 1 lakh rupees, that also we found out already. See here, stock amount is 1 lakh. So with these two, we know that current assets value. So first let us mention stock. Stock amount is better to write in the inner column, because total current assets mattumதான் we will enter in the final column. So stock amount is 1 lakh, and then other one is debtors. Okay. So debtors amount is 2,50,000. Okay. So now if you go to the problem and verify, நம்மளோட current assets வந்து 6 lakhs we have calculated. So if you go through this entire sum, you can find out current assets, no, 6 lakhs we have found out actually. But here we can allocate, only 2,50,000 for debtors and 1 lakh for stock. So balance எவ்வளோ actually 6 lakh இது. Total current assets பாத்தீங்கன்னா it is 6 lakh. Okay. But we allotted only 1 lakh to stock, debtors 2,50,000. ஏன்னா அது வரைக்கும் தான் information இருக்கு நம்ம கிட்ட. So balance amount எவ்வளோன்றத பார்க்கணும். 6 lakhல இருந்து 1 lakh subtract பண்ணுங்க, 2,50,000 subtract பண்ணீங்கன்னா balance எவ்வளோ amountன்னு இருக்குன்னு பாருங்க. Just find out. That amount will be other current assets. Others you can mention other current assets. Already current assets போட்டதுனால others போட்டுக்கலாம், because அது cash, அது what type of asset ன்றத you cannot categorize here. So you can mention better others. So find out this difference, because இதெல்லாம் specifically நம்ம ரொம்ப specific we should give here. So data சும்மா current assets 6 lakh and we cannot put, because we calculated stock amount this much, debtors amount this much, balance amount you have to show it as others. Okay. So find out how much you are getting.
2,50,000.
2,50,000. Okay. So this will be your other current assets. Okay. Now similarly here also we are moving to the this side. Let us wait. So move on to the liability side. So usually liability side, the first item will be your share capital. Okay. Share capital. Now, so what is the share capital amount? 9 lakhs. Split up இருக்கணும். Share capital reserves மொத்தமா 12 lakhs net worth எழுதக்கூடாது. Balance sheet எப்பயுமே share capital reserves and surplus தனித்தனியா தானே we are showing. So in the same manner, share capital 9 lakhs, reserves 3 lakhs we have to show. So either you can show in the inner column, final amount outer column we can show. Okay. Reserves 3 lakh. Okay. So now final amount 12 lakhs, it has to be shown here. Okay. 12 lakhs. So 9 lakhs, 9 lakhs plus 3 lakhs, you are showing it as 12 lakhs here. Okay. Now moving to the other part, you don't have long term liabilities itself. Long term liabilities na bank loan, debentures, all these are known as long term liabilities of your business. Okay. So what is meant by long term liability now? More than 1 year, if if you are capable enough, after that 1 year or 5 years or 10 years also you can pay, not immediately it has to be settled off now. That is known as long term liability. So generally, if you are taking any loan from a bank or financial institution or debentures, they come under long-term liabilities. Long-term liabilities pathina எந்த information here we don't have. Okay, so we can just skip out. Other than that, what will come under liability side, you should think of. So under liability side, if you see, you will get current liabilities. That just now we calculated as 4 lakhs. Okay, so let me mention here itself. Current liabilities, current liabilities, that is 4 lakhs. Okay. Now this is the all the items we have included over here. Okay. So no other items we have. So everything we have included. Now just find out the total of your asset side and the liability side. If you see 12 lakh plus 4 lakh, you are getting 16 lakh here. Okay. And similarly, if you see here on the asset side, 10 lakh plus 6 lakh, you are getting 16 lakh. So this is your reconstituted balance sheet or balance sheet. So this is your total. Okay. Total of your assets and liabilities. So like this, your answer should get tallied. Okay. Or else somewhere you have done mistake, you have to rectify that. Okay. So if you understand, if you keenly watch this and I'm sure that you can easily understand. So each and every straight away they will not give you information. Certain information will be there. Certain things you have to calculate. Okay. So you cannot go on a order wise for this kind of problem. Whatever information you have gathered, no, with that you have to think. So என்ன ரேஷியோ வந்து இது ஃபார்முலா கூட எது வந்து நம்ம கிட்ட இருக்கு, பிகாஸ் some question some of the formulas la numerator you have, denominator you don't have, இல்ல denominator இருக்கும் numerator இருக்காது. So x ன்னு நம்ம substitute பண்ணிட்டு you should find out the amount. So அதுக்கப்புறம் like this further you have to proceed and further you have to go ahead and find out each and every items. What are the possible things they are given, with that what are the possible things you can find out. You have to think in that way. And formulas you should be thorough. And then each and every information, as I told you, like how you do in max, you have to think in that same way and proceed with this thing. uh, at last you will be getting your balance sheet, and this balance sheet it should surely get tallied. Whenever you can cross verify at many stages, as we discussed, no, at many stages you can cross verify whether we have done right or wrong ன்றத கூட நம்ம வந்து cross checking பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஸோ பண்ணிட்டு அந்த அந்த ரேஷியோ அவங்க கொடுத்ததும் நம்ம அந்த அமௌண்ட்டை டிவைட் பண்ணி வர்றதும் ஒன்றா இருந்ததுன்னா, ஸோ இது வரைக்கும் கரெக்டா அப்படின்றதையும் we can identify. So at last your balance sheet should get tallied, your assets and liabilities. Then only your entire sum is right. Okay, so it takes some time, but if you are practicing 2 to 3 questions on this method, surely you can get this problem. But 15 marks, 10 marks, there are many possibilities for you to get like this question in your university exams.